welcome back. So how are you all feeling? So you must be feeling nice after I think some days break. And Kedin Saragila already asked you about how you celebrated His Holiness' birthday yesterday. So I hope you had a very nice time yesterday. So Kedin Saragila already discussed with you or reviewed the types of you can say not really types, the things that we learned in the last week, right? The writing process, he reviewed about paragraph writing and essay writing. So this is just to help you in a way review what you have learned in the last week. I know there are a lot of things that you need to do these days. You have online lessons on your, say, for all the subjects, and then you are watching our lessons as well, I know. But I really hope you learn to keep a balance, right? And what Kedin Saragela and I, we both are doing here is not dealing with the syllabus from your textbook, but we are focusing more on language skills and the standards that we expect for the students at this level, right? So these things are important, and when you learn this, it would be easier for you to learn the things that are covered in your regular lessons, right? Okay, so after the review and recapitulation of what you have learned in the last week, so this week what we are going to cover is about the different types of writing. So you have already learned about, if you remember, right from the very beginning, you learned about the parts of speech, the verb forms, right? And you also learned about sentence, you learned about types of sentences, and then gradually you learned about writing process, and then how sentences are grouped together to form paragraph, and then how number of paragraphs are grouped in order to write an essay, isn't it? So like we eat different dishes, isn't it? We don't eat the same thing throughout the day. We have different choices, so we keep changing. In the same way, like writing also has different types, different forms. Okay, so it's very important that you understand and you have a knowledge about how writing can differ, different types of writing can differ from each other, and how they form a connection. And it's also important that you learn about like in one form of writing, how you can find different types of writing used by the author or the writer. So this session is particularly for introducing different types of writing. I may not go in detail on each of the writing types, because in detail we will go on in the next session and tomorrow. All right, so this is just helping, just to help you out with understanding, yes, okay, writing can be of this type, because you all know this. But what happens is, in a way, we haven't kind of noticed that, oh, this type of writing is different from what I have just read. This can be different. So writing can come in different forms, different types. So it's there, but the only thing is we don't notice, or we don't in a way try to find out the difference. We just read, okay, and or we just write, and without thinking that we are doing this type of writing. It happens. I think you can relate with what I'm telling you, isn't it? You do a lot of reading in class, isn't it? You do a lot of writing in class, and as well as in your home. You write paragraphs, you write essays, you write some, the senior students also do, they write some articles, you also write diary entries, isn't it? And sometimes your teacher also tells you to write stories. So you do different types of writing, but many of you might not be aware of what type of writing you are doing, except for the fact that you know the name. Okay, right now I'm writing a paragraph. Okay, yesterday I wrote an essay, right? Maybe last week I wrote a story, or maybe yesterday I wrote a poem. Okay, so you know that you are doing a kind of writing, but you may not know, or you may not have noticed that you are doing different types of writing. right? Or the types of writing that you are doing may be same or maybe different. So, this session is just to help you understand that there are different types of writing. Okay. So, this introduction to writing types. So, basically we have 4 main categories of writing, and these are narrative writing, descriptive writing, expository writing and persuasive writing. Okay. So, if you look carefully, right, these are the main categories. Okay. And under each category you can have other types of writing. So, basically we categorized writing types into 4 broad like parts or types, and these are narrative, descriptive, expository, persuasive, right. So, there are other type of writing as well, okay, other categories of writing like objective writing, subjective writing, creative writing, review writing. So, I think all the students can very easily relate with creative writing. This is what you do, what your teacher tells you to do. You might also have a creative notebook as well, where you keep on writing all your creative write-ups, isn't it? And then I know even like class 5 students also do some sort of review writing. Okay. Yes, this is a fact. I have seen class 5 students doing book review. When you read a book, when you finish reading, you write a review of the book, though not very long, but like few sentences about that. This is also review writing. You do that, right? Review writing. So, you may not be very well aware of subjective and objective writing, but that's okay. Okay, but rest of the thing I feel you can relate, right? Creative writing and review writing you are all aware of. Okay. So, now let's go in detail, not very detailed, but just to help you just get an idea about each type of writing. So, at the beginning we have narrative writing. So, the word itself, okay, narrative writing. So, here writing is used as a noun, okay. So, narrative writing. So, the word narrative is the one that describes what type of writing it is. So, narrative is the adjective here, okay. So, from the word narrative, if we try to break a little bit of grammar, I am just trying to do narrative writing. So, this word narrative is, in a way, this qualifies this word writing. So, narrative is explaining this part, what type of writing, okay, narrative. So, if we break this word, okay, narrate, right, you all know what narrate is, isn't it? You know what narrate is. You express something, you tell something, usually in the form of a story, okay, an event or incident you narrate. So, narrate, this is verb, okay, and we can in a way like remove this E and then we can add ION, and this becomes a noun, isn't it? Narrate is a verb, narration is a noun, and now if we remove this ON, okay, from here now, and if we add IVE, now this word becomes adjective, okay, adjective. So, adjective qualifies the noun here, okay, narrative writing. So, what sort of writing is this? It's a type of writing where you have some sort of narration. There's a narrator who is narrating the event or story, okay. So, narrate is verb. So, I'm just trying to tell you this because everything is connected in a way, whatever you have learned, okay. So, narrative writing, verb, noun, adjective. So, narrative writing. So, from the word itself, you can in a way puzzle out the meaning, what narrative writing might mean. So, narrative, break the word narrate, okay. When you know that, know the meaning of narrate, then you can easily figure out. Okay, narrate means to narrate, and then you have narration, then narrative, that becomes adjective. So, narrative writing. Okay, that just gives you a sense of the thing. Oh, this might be this, right? Okay, so look at the slide. So, it is a type of writing in which the author tells a story or shares an experience with others. Okay, so like I told you earlier, it's like you narrate a story or you tell someone about something that happened to you, okay, a sort of experience. So, next point, you can just look at the slide. Narrative writing can be fiction based on imagination. So, later on when we cover text structure, you will come to know about fiction and non-fiction. Okay. And many of you might be knowing. So, class 5 and 6 students might not be aware of fiction and non-fiction, but I think class 7 and 8 students are well aware of the difference between fiction and non-fiction. So, fiction is based on your imagination, okay, not on facts, but your imagination, and non-fiction based on facts. So, narrative writing can be either fictional or non-fictional. Okay. It has a beginning, middle and ending, because usually it is a kind of story, right. So, a story you will learn about in later sessions, okay, in detail. So, how beginning should be like, or middle and ending. So, there has to be beginning, middle and ending. And usually where do you find narrative writings? Okay, it is found in novels, poetry, short stories, biographies, autobiographies as well. Okay, these are few examples where you find narrative writing, and sometimes you may find narrative writing in other type of writing as well. Okay, so just quickly go through the slide, read it again, take your time, read it again, and just try to form a picture in your mind. Think about a story that you have read, or a poetry piece that you have read, or any novel you have read, and then try to form a connection in your mind. Do you find any narrator in the story? Was the thing that I have read a kind of narration? Was there a beginning, middle and ending? Okay, I'm just giving you time to think about it. Okay, any recent book you have read, any recent story that you have read, and try to think about that story in terms of this type of writing, narrative writing. Oh, what I have read is a sort of narrative writing. Does it fit into this type of writing or not? Okay, think about it. Take some time, read the things that is on the slide, and then try to form a picture in your mind. Try to remember the story that you have just read recently. Okay, so you have the thing in your mind. Now you can just kind of think, oh, that was the story I read where I found sort of beginning, there was a middle also and ending, and then it may be a fiction or non-fiction, right? And you can just relate, oh, the author was trying to explain something, share a sort of experience with the readers. So you could just relate, oh, this sort of writing is called narrative writing. Is that clear now? Very good. Okay, now let's look at another type of writing which is called expository writing. Look at the slide. Okay, expository writing. Okay, so the word may be new for many of you, expository writing. Oh, what is this new thing, right? It may be a new word for you, but this type of writing you are well aware of. Okay, you have gone through such writing right from your childhood, right from the time you started going to school. I think from you can guess from the primary level. No, I don't think you have gone through all this during your pre-primary level, but of course from primary level when you started going through textbooks. Okay, so let's look at the slide. It is a type of writing in which the author informs or explains the subject to the readers. Okay, so whatever the author wants to explain or inform, the author is doing that. So like I told you, the textbooks that you read, the textbooks on your science textbooks, your English textbook, your social science textbook, so whatever textbook you are going, these are all example of expository writing, because here the author informs you. You are given some sort of information, okay, and explanation about the content, okay, about the subject. So therefore it is also called informative writing, right? Expository writing and informative writing are same, okay, just two different names with which people know it, right? Expository writing means informative writing. So you can also call this informative writing because you are given information. It is built on facts and figures and reasons. Okay, it's not something that is out of your imagination. Okay, these are all built on facts and figures. You need to have reasons because these things can be proven in a way. Okay, because these are based on facts, so they can be proven. So it is most commonly found in textbooks, newspapers, magazines. Okay, so class 5-6 students may not be reading newspapers, but I know you are going through different magazines, right? Children magazines and all. So these are all examples where you find expository writing. The type of writing usually found in such things are expository or informative writing. So I give you some time to think about a lesson of maybe science. Okay, think about the recent science chapter your teacher has covered. Okay, and then like you read textbooks as well, isn't it? You read science textbook and then you just try to remember, right? Okay, what was the lesson that you learned recently? Was it on light? Okay, so what are the things that your science teacher covered? I remember from the science lesson broadcasted by Tibet TV, Gilhundu Namgila taught you about light. I remember that, right? Class 6, 7, 8. So as far as I remember, this was the last lesson, the last topic from science. So you just think about what are the different things Gela told you about, okay, and the textbook that you have, what are the things that you read about light. These are all information in a way, and these are based on facts, right? They are reasons. So these can be proven. So take some time, think about it. Oh, the things that are written in textbook, are they narrative or expository? Take some time, look at the slide again, go through it, and then try to form a sort of connection and compare narrative writing with expository writing. Okay, think about any chapter from your textbook. I've just given you example of the science chapter, light. You can think of any other thing. You can take a lesson from social science textbook as well, okay, or any other textbook, and try to just think. Or you can think of any magazines that you have recently read and just try to think, was there some sort of information given in the magazine? And is it same to narrative writing, or it is little different? Okay, try to connect. Otherwise, I will give you one by one, I will introduce some types of writing, and then it would be difficult for you to identify. That's why I'm giving you some time to connect what you are like told right now, and then what you were told earlier, right? Just try to form connection. All right. Okay, so those who have finished doing that, it's good. And those who were still in a way struggling, you can do it later after the session is over. You can take a textbook, okay, you can take a storybook, and then you can just compare, okay, some pieces of the things written there, okay, and then you will get an idea, okay. So next type of writing is descriptive writing, okay. So as the word suggests, like expository, narrative, and then you have descriptive. Descriptive writing. I want you to go look at descriptive writing based on the narrative writing, because this is how we try to puzzle out, okay, the meaning. So descriptive, if descriptive is a new word for you, it's okay, but I don't think this is a new word for you. Is describe a new word for you? Of course not, right? You all know what describe means. Okay, this is a verb, describe. Okay, so then what you can do is, you can just see a connection. Okay, describe, descriptive, there's some sort of connection. Okay, describe, then you have description, isn't it? Describe is verb, description is noun, okay, and descriptive is adjective. So what sort of writing? Descriptive writing, where the author or the writer describes something in detail. Okay, so this is how you can puzzle out the meaning of a word when you feel like this is kind of unfamiliar to you. But from familiar to unfamiliar, from known to unknown, you can just cover in a way. Okay, describe, verb, description is noun, and then descriptive is adjective. Okay, so there you can just in a way guess, descriptive writing is a sort of writing where you can see some sort of description happening. Okay, someone is describing something. Does that make sense? Good. Okay, now look at the slide. Okay, it is a type of expository writing in which the writer describes things in detail by using the 5 senses to paint a picture for the readers. Okay, now what you can do is you can connect descriptive writing to expository writing. Okay, expository writing is informative writing where the author or the writer explains or informs. Okay, but descriptive is a type of expository writing, but you need to understand that not all expository writing may be descriptive writing. Okay, so descriptive writing is a kind of expository writing. Here the description is, or the author is explaining something in so much detail, a vivid description, okay, vivid detail, very specific details are given, and using all your 5 senses means the author or writer might be using a lot of imagery, isn't it? So in order to describe something, the author or writer explains, or you can say make use of so many imageries, like, and then that can help the reader in a way visualize. Okay, using your all 5 senses. I hope you understand your visual. Okay, that's something that you can visualize, can see in a way. Then your olfactory senses, your auditory senses, okay, where some you can feel as well. So all your 5 senses are used in order to kind of help the reader form a picture in your mind, in the mind. Okay, so descriptive writing is a type of expository writing, but all expository writing may not be descriptive writing. Does that make sense? Okay, so descriptive writing is a type of expository writing in which the writer describes things in detail by using the 5 senses to paint a picture for the readers. It incorporates imagery and specific details. Okay, so details is a must. Okay, they're giving details in descriptive writing. It is found in poetry, like I told you. Imageries is used, lot of imagery used in order to like appeal to the senses of the reader. So this is usually found in poetry pieces, isn't it? And then fictional stories, in diaries, and nature writing. When you describe nature, a lot of details you give, right? So this type of writing is called descriptive writing. Clear? Now can you think of a poem that you have recently read in your English class? Maybe the virtual class, okay, the online class. Any poem you remember, and just try to think about, was there any sort of description which could help you imagine the things, which could help you paint a picture in your mind. Try to think of that. Okay, so poets usually use a lot of imageries, isn't it, in their writing, because this is just to help the readers kind of form that mental picture. Okay, so a lot of details, okay, is given. So this kind of writing is called descriptive writing. So how many writings did we cover so far? Right, the first one was narrative writing, the second one was expository writing, and the third one, yes, descriptive writing. Okay, so let's look at the fourth one. Okay, persuasive writing. Okay, persuasive writing. So if you look at the word persuasive, so many of you may not be knowing what persuasive is. Okay, so persuade, if you have heard, I don't know, class 5 or 6 students, if you are aware of this word or not. I just expect some of class 7 or 8 students might be knowing the meaning of persuade. Persuade. So from this word persuade, we have persuasive. Okay, persuade someone is to, in a way, convince someone to do something. Okay, like when you write application, okay, you are in a way trying to convince, you write some sort of, you give some sort of proposal to your senior, okay, or your teacher, okay, you are trying to make the other person listen to you, okay. So you are persuading the person, you are in a way trying to influence or convince the person, okay. So this type of writing is called persuasive writing. Again, persuasive is adjective and persuade is verb. Okay, persuade is verb, persuasive is adjective. So all those sort of type of writing where you can find the author or the writer trying to convince the other person or the reader, okay, trying to take the reader into confidence, try to take the reader to your side. This type of writing is called persuasive writing. Okay, look at the slide now. It is a type of writing that states the opinion of the writer and attempts to influence the reader. So you are trying to convince the reader, okay, accept your opinion, your point, okay. Its main purpose is to persuade the reader about something. You are trying to convince the other person with your opinion, okay. It uses emotions, reasons, and characters to persuade the readers, because it's not easy to persuade or convince someone, right. You need to have strong points, and sometimes apart from the reason, you in a way try to convince the other person or the reader with your emotions, okay. It's appeal to emotion, you appeal to reason, and sometimes characters are also used, like you see in advertisements, isn't it. Superstars come with a sort of, they advertise the product, okay, because what sort of thing is used? The character is used here. You are influenced by the character, okay. So these are all persuasive things. So you usually find persuasive writing in, look at the slide, advertisements. Like I told you, in ads, advertisement writing is usually persuasive, because you persuade the customers, viewers, to buy that product in a way, if it's advertisement for product, or if it's advertisement for some sort of other things, again there you are trying to influence or convince the reader. And then editorial columns you have, and then proposals. These are all examples of persuasive writing. Okay. So, you may not find persuasive writing in your textbook, but you can think about some sort of editorials or proposals if you have read, or maybe you can think about some television ads, where the readers or the viewers are in a way like attracted in a way, right, in order to listen to what is shown in the television. In order to, it may be a product advertisement for some product. So, how the readers are attracted in order to buy that product. Next is subjective writing. Again, you need to break this word subjective, subject. So, you know about subject. If you look at sentence, right, subject and object you are aware of, isn't it? So, just think of the subject here. So, what sort of writing? Now, you can easily find out, oh, this is something that is more like towards the subject rather than the object. So, the focus is more towards the subject and not the object. So, this type of writing is subjective writing. So, the younger children, right, class 5, 6 students, you can think not in terms of a whole piece of writing. You can just think in terms of a sentence itself. That will be easier for you. When I am discussing subjective and objective writing, you can think in terms of simple sentence. Any type of sentence that you can think of where you have the role of a subject, where subject is given more importance. So that you can connect with what you are learning, because this might be a little, you can say, high for you at this level, but this is just to introduce you, let you know that writing can be of different types. So, look at the slide. It is a type of writing which is influenced by personal feelings and opinions, and therefore may be biased, because the focus is not on what is actually happening, the object, but rather more on the subject. And so, here there is chances that it can be biased. If bias is a new word for you, then you can think about partial. Partiality, you talk about your class monitor is being very partial. He doesn't tell his friends, but us, you sometimes complain, isn't it? Being partial and impartial. So, biased and unbiased. Biased means being partial, favoring someone. So, in subjective writing, what you find is it is influenced by the personal feelings. You state your personal feelings in order to describe a fact. So, in a way it becomes biased. It uses emotional impressions. It is often found in personal essays. So, when you write personal essays, letters, and some parts of autobiographies also, because your emotions are there, your personal feelings are there. So, it does not mean that subjective writing is always, it is not a fact. It can be a fact, but the fact has the content or element of personal impression attached with that. You have your own opinions stressed on that. So, this sort of writing is called subjective writing, because the subject, the writer, has her or his own views and feelings connected with that. So, sometimes it may become biased. Then you have objective writing. Like subjective, now this one is objective, focuses more on the fact, on the object rather than subject. So, it is a type of writing which is not influenced by personal feelings and opinions, but facts, and therefore, it is unbiased. Because the focus is given more on facts, not the feelings associated, not on the opinions of the writer, but the focus is given more on the facts, and so it is unbiased, means impartial. Impartial. So, there is no favoritism in a way, like, it relies on factual details, like I told you, facts. It focuses on the object rather than one's personal reaction. So, personal reactions are not given that much importance, but the object. The thing that has happened, whatever is there, the object is given more importance rather than your personal views, your opinions or your feelings. Okay, there's no room for emotions in this sort of writing. Okay. It is often found in newspaper report. Okay, you see in newspaper report all the facts are given. Okay, during such and such day this sort of incident happened. Okay, you don't form any personal connection, or you don't talk about any emotions. Okay, you just state the fact, you just state the event that happened, isn't it? And then you have like medical and scientific writing. So some sort of writing in which you talk about, okay, health. If you are just writing in terms of like some sort of the benefits of medicines, no emotional attachment is there, it's just fact, right? Scientific writing, again fact. Okay, no personal opinion is there, no emotional attachment also there. It's you are just mentioning what the fact is. Okay, so this sort of writing is called objective writing. Subjective, influenced by personal feelings and opinions. Okay, and objective writing, no room for such things, only fact. Okay, and then you have creative writing. So this you can very well relate, you do this, right? You all do creative writing, and the word itself again suggests you, I told you how to break it. Creative is adjective and the verb is create. Okay, just look at the board. Creative. So this is adjective, creative writing. So if you can break this, right? Create. This is verb. Create is verb. And the noun form is creation. Okay, this is noun. When you create something, okay, this is verb. When you are creating something, you are being creative. And the result of your this act of creating something, this is your creation. Okay, what you get is the creation. So what sort of writing is this? Creative writing, in which you create. Okay, it's a lot to do with your imagination. Okay, you are creating something. Okay, look at the slide now. It is a type of writing that expresses the writer's thoughts and feelings in an imaginative and poetic way. Usually poems are very, you can say, creative in a way. You have to be very creative in order to write a piece of poetry. So you use your imagination. Okay, in creative writing you use your imagination. It is different from other professional writing. Okay, it is often found in poetry, plays, movies, songs, fictions, non-fictions, etc. So the list is too long, right? There are a lot of writings where you can find the creativity of the author or writer. Okay, so these are all sort of creative writing. I think this you can easily understand. So you can think about any creative writing that you have done recently. Did you write a poem? Did you write like it's a sort of story? Because sometimes you can create that, right? Think about it. Or if you haven't done, think of doing such things. Okay. So I'll quickly go through it. Okay, and then review writing. So review, view, you understand, right? Review. You're doing it. Okay, review. You write book review. I think this one you can easily relate because this is not something that is unfamiliar. You are very well aware of review writing, isn't it? So it's a short piece of writing in which writer offers his or her personal opinions about something. Say you just read a book, okay, you have read a story book, so your teacher tells you to do a book review. So the review can be in the form of sort of oral practice in the class. You can do it by speaking to the rest of the students, or you can do it in writing. Okay, and then share. So here we are talking about writing, review writing. So after you read a story, you write about the book. Okay, what part of the book you like more? Why do you recommend this book to your friend? Why do you think this is a good book to read? So you, in a way, you give your opinion, your personal opinion about this book. You like the character of the book, the story was interesting, or maybe it was there was a lot of adventure in the story that you like. So in a way, you are kind of giving some sort of personal opinion about that book. This is book review. And you can also write review about a film. These days, many people, before going to watch a movie, they look at the review. What is people's rating? Like, how do they review? Oh, this movie is so boring, it's a waste of money, don't go. So this is your personal comment, your opinion. Okay, you are just trying to, or if some may write, okay, the story is not good, or you can just, or if you like this movie particularly, then you give positive comments, you just give your opinion. So these are also some example of review. So review of product is also there in you can say ads, right? In ads you see review. So these are all like the script already written, and then the person who is acting, they are just delivering that, isn't it? So book review, you do that. So I think this you can very well connect and relate with. So keep book review in your mind and think about review writing. Okay, look at the slide. So it is a short piece of writing in which the writer offers his or her personal opinions about something. It focuses on strengths and weaknesses of something by using evidence to support ideas. I told you, like, if the movie is not good, why it is not good, then you have your evidence. You have to use the evidence to support your idea. Or if you like the movie so much, right, you can just give evidence. The acting was so good, the story is very good, the plot was nice. So you can just give evidence. And if you are talking about book review, so why do you particularly like the book? You have to give evidence. There's a lot of adventure in the book, and I like adventure. The story is so beautifully narrated, or you can just add on that, right? And then the sentences used or words used are very simple, easy to understand. So these are all evidences, isn't it? It requires both persuasive and descriptive writing skills. In order to write a review, you need to have this skill to describe and persuade the reader. So if you are just recommending a book, right, you write a book review. I like this book particularly, you give the reason, and you have to be very persuasive so that you can attract the audience, right, the readers to, or your friends, because you are recommending this book. Okay, so suppose if this is the book, you want to suggest this book, so you are recommending this, so you have to have that persuasive skill. Why do you feel that your friends should read this book? You have to influence, you have to convince them, isn't it? So you have to have that skill. And then you have to have the descriptive skills, because you have to describe, isn't it? The details should be given. So therefore, in order to write a review, you need to use persuasive as well as descriptive skills. Okay. So the examples are book review, product review, and film review, and there are other things as well. So these are the examples I just give, so that keeping your level in mind, because these are something I think you can easily connect with. Okay. So this is introduction to the different types of writing. I have introduced you 8 different types of writing. So Gideon Thargila and we both will be covering the 4 main categories. Okay. Narrative writing, descriptive writing, expository writing, and persuasive writing. Okay. So the objective, subjective, creative, and review writing we will not be discussing in detail, but we will focus more on the main categories of writing. Okay. So in the next session, Gideon Thargila will tell you about descriptive writing in detail. Okay. So thank you.